What's up guys, Chasing Lamey here with episode number 38 of our Williams Revival series on F1 Manager 22. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, ring the bell. We put out racing content all the time, as well as some lovely Football Manager content occasionally, and podcasts. So good times all around. Today we're going to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari at Imola in Italy. And we will be hoping to get a good result after the six-car street fight that we had in the last round. We currently sit third in the Constructors' Championship. In the drivers, Valtteri Bottas fourth and Lewis Hamilton sitting in seventh. So it's gone well all round for us so far this season. Obviously our third season at the helm in 2024. We finally dragged Williams up towards the front of the grid and reunited the Hamilton-Bottas partnership for all of the ages, which is something we've been trying to do now for quite some time. So we need to have a little look to see what we're doing with our car part development, just to see what is happening there. And it looks like we are getting some new parts. We're getting a new front wing for this race. We've got no new designs coming in. So we're going to keep going forward, let all those things happen, and hopefully we will see some good things coming in over the coming week, over the coming few races, just so we can build a more stable, faster car as our new front wing completes manufacturing. We need to have a little look now to see if we've got any spare parts in the warehouse though, because otherwise we are going to run out of things. It looks like we're okay so far, so we'll keep on going, and the race weekend should be coming fairly soon. We've got a research period about to open and a regulations vote result to come in now, so we will get that done momentarily once it finally lets us come back to the mailbox screen. It's going to drop us back just before practice, which is always a good place for it to drop us off. Saves us a little bit of time. So front wing manufacturing, car part research unlocked. Let's have a look at the regulation votes. We have passed the minor technical regulations. That makes me quite happy. That's what I voted. Oh no, that makes me unhappy. Is what I voted against. I completely forgot that I voted against that. I thought I voted for that. And we're going to get some big changes then for next season that's going to help, going to drive us back. Looking at the car for this race, we're going to finish somewhere in the top 5 or 6, probably top 4 if we're lucky. Could be a good battle between the top 6 cars regardless, so we'll set some performance targets to reflect that. Obviously we have to reach Q3. We're going to tell them qualifying. We're going to stick both cars in the top 8, and then we're going to say we're going to get both cars into Q2, because otherwise that's just leaving money on the table. Race targets, we'll tell them we can do a fastest lap, because there's no good reason we shouldn't be able to, and obviously we've got all the 8 streak targets locked in. So without any further ado, I think it's time to go to the race weekend at Emilia-Romagna and see how we can do. So qualifying 3 is now in the books then, and it's been a very close fight between all of the top 6, really. In Q3, though, Charles Leclerc gets himself on pole with a 13.89. Lewis Hamilton is, 16 thousandths of a second behind in second. Valtteri Bottas another 23 thousandths of a second behind in third. And then we have a little bit more of a gap, just under 2/10 to Verstappen, who's got a grid penalty. Sainz clocks exactly the same time as Verstappen in 5th. Sergio Perez, just another few hundredths of a second outside in 6th. George Russell again within a few hundredths in 7th in the Mercedes, and then Alonso also within a few hundredths. In fact, everyone within a few hundredths of a second, down to Norris in 9th. Gasly a little bit further behind in 10th, and we've got Ricciardo, Albon, Ocon, Stroll, Vettel, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Schumacher, Zhou Guanyu, and Logan Sargent. Got to argue again, I think, that these 3 guys, Ricciardo, Albon, and Ocon, might be a little bit out of position, and that Gasly might be either massively outdriving the Alfa Romeo, or Mick Schumacher is underdriving the Alfa Romeo, and either could be true. Either way, we're going to go forward into the race weekend and see what happens.
Drivers are strapping themselves in, ready for race day.
Qualifying went well for Williams, as attested by their strong position on the grid. Now it's all about finding that edge for the race itself. Ferrari performed brilliantly during qualifying and will be very pleased with their grid position. But the challenge for them will be to keep the momentum going during the race. and the sun is shining bright here today. This is perfect weather for teams and drivers alike to show us what they're capable of.
Meanwhile, in the grandstands, the red wave is swelling. So let's find out who wins the day here at Imola.
So we are going to be ready to go in just a moment. Of course, we've got to set up our strategy first. That's going to be the most important thing we do here today. And we need to work out how we're going to do this. We've got no weather inbound as far as I'm aware, so that's good. It should be fairly straightforward. It's just a case of what's the fastest way to the flag according to our strategy team. And it's saying one stop, mediums to hards, which is probably wise. I'm just thinking, is there an argument for take track position and go to the end that way? But I'm not entirely certain. Let's try it out just so we can see how that looks in terms of timing, because that will bring us in around lap 18, 19, and it's not. I don't know if we can put a big enough gap to make the undercut work, but it could be worth trying as a strategy. It does require some thinking. It's going to require some tyre saving. I'm not sure which of our drivers is the best bet to pull that off either. You'd like to think it'd be Lewis, but is it Max? I think what we're going to do, we're going to take a little bit of a risk here. We're going to say, we'll set it up on both, but I'm actually going to put it on Lewis, I think. Yeah, screw it. Let's give Lewis that strategy. In fact, should we give both drivers that strategy? It's a bit of a bold one, a bit of a gamble. We've not done much gambling on the channel so far this save, so we'll do a little gamble, shall we? We'll go to a soft to hard, nice, easy. Play it by ear on when they come in, because I think Valtteri will probably have to come in a touch earlier. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. We'll tell them both 19. I think I told Lewis 19. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. Did I tell Lewis 19? I must have told Lewis 19 somewhere in there. Let's have a look. Yeah. Okay, we'll bring Valtteri in on lap 18. I know preferential treatment, yada, 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 yada. I'll just see how it goes during the race. I'm sure it'll work out. Right. Fuel-wise, that's an interesting one. Do I want to go full tanks? I think I do. I think I want to go full tanks and really push the fuel, knowing we've got the tyres to at least help us out. And we're going to go for a full deploy for Lewis from the outset, and we're going to tell Valtteri to just overtake until he gets in second, then we'll go full deploy. I'm boldly assuming he'll, of course, end up in second off the line. It could happen, it could not happen. We're about to find out, so I guess that's a good time for us to learn our lessons. Right, anything else in there I need to sort out before we get going? That's a good question for us as well. Car parts, do I have any better, anything I don't than that? I know I don't with Valtteri. It's fine. Let's go get this one underway, shall we?
We have beautiful blue skies overhead as the drivers line up on the grid. And here we've got Lewis Hamilton. They're in second place on the grid, but that could so easily change in the first few seconds of the race. And there's Bottas completing the team today. They've managed a third place start for this race, but can they turn it into a win? The race start is mere seconds away. All eyes are on the race here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And we are underway here in Emilia-Romagna and doing fairly well off the line, it looks like, seeing if we can get into the first corner first. It looks like we will do. Lewis doing everything in his power to get into turn one first. Let's go off board, see if we can see it. We can. Valtteri is in danger of losing a position, however, to the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, who may be on a similar strategy. We'll have a little look, see what he's doing tyres-wise. He's not, he's just pushing harder. Hamilton overtaking Leclerc into turn one. We're going to have to jump on board with Valtteri Bottas now, see if he can make this pass stick. because Lewis, in theory, should now just be disappearing into the distance and leaving the Ferrari behind. That would be the ideal for all of us, I feel like, is if he could just leave the Ferrari with Leclerc behind, let Bottas pass him, and then do what Bottas needs to do to push away as well. Lewis going off into the distance at half a second gap already. That's quite nice. Now we need Valtteri to step his game up, have a little look around the outside. We're not going to get a look in just yet, are we? It's a bold place to try it, but Valtteri Bottas decided to keep his nose in, and he's keeping going, and he's through, and he's clear, and now we can go into deploy with Bottas as well, and see if we can leave both these Ferraris behind and get on with the race. That could be the moment where we secure the 1-2, get on the hard tyres early to the end, and see what happens from there on out. Because, you know, as much as we like a good tight battle, I don't mind a disappearing into the distance kind of 1-2. I don't mind doing it at Imola on Ferrari home turf ahead of Ferraris either. Although obviously Max Verstappen, once he eventually passes George Russell, will probably come flying through the field. But we're doing okay now. We're pushing away. Let's go to double speed time, see what's happening on board. We need to get this gap clear before we get to the DRS zone. That's my major concern right now, is to get that 1 second before DRS gets activated at the end of this lap, because once that's done, we should be free and clear. Leclerc is staying on the back of us just about, but we are looking pretty solid so far. Keep the toe in, and we'll be okay. Let's go on to neutral now, because otherwise we're just not going to have any ERS at all at any point in the lap. That would be a useful thing to do. Bottas has not quite cleared Leclerc just yet, so hopefully he will still be able to keep pushing until we get to the activation zone. We'll go into double speed again just to make sure we get to the activation zone without a fight on, because otherwise Bottas could have been held up just long enough by Leclerc to keep Leclerc in this fight. Actually, no, I'm looking at that all wrong. That's the Bottas-Leclerc gap. We have gapped Leclerc perfectly, and it's just kind of a case of, are Sainz and Leclerc going to pull each other back towards us, because Sainz has gapped Perez. So we're kind of in a one-horse race right now, and it's all going to be about whether Bottas and Hamilton can keep it clean to the end. I'm not going to stop them fighting. If they want to fight, they are welcome to fight, but we do want to keep these tyres a little bit preserved as well, as if we can. We're about on the second stint more than the first, because Hamilton and Bottas should just pull each other away from Charles Leclerc off into the distance. And I don't think I've done this before. This might be a very short episode, because I'm just going to zoom through and watch the gap build to the pit stops, because frankly we're clear. We are free and clear, and if we can build a good enough gap before the pit stops, we might be laughing at this point. We may well be laughing. We're just looking for the right gap to come back out in, but I think we'll come back out at the back of the pack on faster tyres when we do eventually decide to come in, which is not the worst thing that can happen. I was sort of thinking for a second, could I drop back a little bit and maybe take advantage of saving some tyres going to some mediums? Shouldn't need to. We should be fine. Ricciardo's had a little run wide. Let's have a look at that, because we're going to need some action to extend this episode. It's not even a real wide. It was barely a thing. He cut a corner, and it didn't make any difference to his race. Ricciardo's still not anywhere near the points, by the way. He's not having a great season for Mercedes. I don't know if he's been done dirty by the developers or not, but it's not really working out for him, as the crossover point with the tyres is now happening. Pit window now open. That's going to be good for us, because we're going to have to bring someone in very, very soon. Albon, Ocon and Magnussen have come in looking for that early stop, but they're too far behind for it to affect us. It just means they'll come out behind us, even if they pull off this undercut. We'll just keep an eye on the gap to Carlos Sainz now, I think, is the key thing, because if Sainz gets within DRS with the crossover, we're in trouble. We shouldn't let him do that, but we may not have a choice. I think we're going to have to tell the boys to stop fighting each other for a second, because that's not productive. It's not really helping us, and they just need to hold station, not slow each other down, not let Leclerc in there too badly, although he's gapping quite quickly. I think what I might do, safe side says we're going to bring in Bottas now. It's lap 18. We'll bring in Bottas now. We'll let Lewis have another lap without any massive interference, and we're going to let Hamilton have the DRS on the way out, because that is going to be the ticket. Right, we'll do that. We'll tell them to do whatever they need to do, and hopefully Bottas should, I mean, he's still putting in green sectors, but we should be able to get something out of this just by letting Hamilton go one more lap and seeing what occurs. Hamilton's got one more lap on those tyres for sure. Something's happened in sector 1. I'm sure it wasn't important. Someone running wide. It was Mick Schumacher running wide. Let's see how wide Mick Schumacher ran. Yeah, he's not done well there. He's not gained any advantage by doing that at all. So not really thought that through. But Valtteri is in the pits. Let's go on. In fact, let's go off board. Why not? It's great. Let's set up Hamilton's pit stop whilst we can, and hopefully we're going to get a good stop here. Something in the 2.6s, 2.7s would be nice. Go for the lovely overhead pit stop. Look, any dangers, any problems? Nothing bad happening. 2.8 is not ideal, but Bottas should come out in a good position and hopefully ahead of someone who has stopped. My car just behind Sebastian Vettel in traffic. That's not ideal. We'd like, if Guan Yu Zhou wasn't ahead of us, that would have been better, but Guan Yu Zhou is ahead of us, so that's going to slow us down a little bit because he cannot put in a good lap time to save his life. But Bottas back on the hunt now, and that's what's really important. We've got Stroll behind us, I think, probably on slightly better tyres. Maybe. I will find out. We'll soon find out. For now, we just have to see what happens. Lewis is going to be the next man in, and he is going to come out probably just behind this pack of cars that Bottas has got himself stuck in, which is not really the one. But let's just quick push on the tyres just until we get into the pit lane, because any gap we can make will count, and we are about to get off these tyres, so we'll see what we can do. And hopefully no one's following us in there. Not. The Ferraris are going to go and try and do their thing to build a gap to Perez, and I guess hope to build a gap over us. But I don't think it's going to work for them. I think we've got the undercut perfectly timed here to make this one stick to the end, and I think we're in a good position right now. That was terrible camera work, which is something I associate more with Monaco than Imola. But there we go, that's life. Where is Lewis coming out? Is he coming out ahead of or behind Bottas? That's the real question. He's coming out just behind Valtteri. It's kind of as you were. I don't know why they used the grass on the pit exit in this case, but such is life. Right, there we go. Something happened in sector 1 to bring out a yellow flag. It might have been Lewis deciding to use the grass to go wide. Guan Yu Zhou went wide. That's going to have held up Valtteri Bottas a little bit. Shame he couldn't go wide a little bit earlier and let them both pass, but that's fine. We do need to get ourselves past Guan Yu Zhou though, so let's jump on board with Valtteri, see if we can get some overtake mode in, because if we don't, we're going to be stuck here forever. This could ruin our race, because frankly Guan Yu Zhou is a moving chicane, and we need to push past. He's doing some great defending, but we've got to get past him and just carry on with our race now, because if we don't, we're in trouble. Neutral for him now, he's passed. Let's have a look at Lewis, so he can have a look and see what's going on, because Bottas should be able to defend Guan Yu Zhou. Hopefully we're not going to get boxed in here, because if we do, we'll be in trouble, and I would like us to not be boxed in if we can avoid it. Come on, Lewis, push, push, push. Let's get yourself past him. Lewis, what are you doing, buds? I don't know how he's done that. I don't. Just on the throttle too early. Lewis, you've given yourself everything to do, buddy. Let's do a little bit of a check he's not damaged the car too much, because that's going to be a real situation if he has. Let's have a little look at our tyre. Situation's fine. Anything damaged here I need to worry about? Nothing damaged. We just need Lewis to get back up to speed and hopefully get himself back in the points, but he's done that to himself, quite frankly. Rare mistake from the 7-time world champion, and it's all gone quite badly for Lewis. Stroll overtakes Hamilton, I feel like, is a bit of a highlight I don't need to worry about because Hamilton was rejoining the track, but Lewis is going to have to really push to get himself back into this. Bottas could have been left alone to fight the Ferraris in the second stint of this race, which is going to be devastating for us. It's not going to be ideal, and we need to really get something going. The cars run wide. A safety car right now would really help us, I think, because we could theoretically get on a set of mediums from here. But let's just speed things up, see if we can get ourselves to the end of things a little faster. We'll give you a bit more time for your day, why not? Because there's nothing technically happening right now in the race. Hamilton has Bottas just ran wide. That's what was happening. Our drivers are having a nightmare today, and I don't know why. It's like the pressure of trying to catch up to 11th is too difficult. Somehow Hamilton's put in a fastest lap with some clean air, got himself back up behind Guan Yu Zhou, which is good. And that will give me a little bit of confidence, but we're not really in the points where we need to be at. We are sort of waiting to see where the pit stops shake out to find out where we're going to be for the end of the race. There are some pit stops, and Bottas has ended up behind Carlos Sainz, which is not ideal at all. He's got all to do now, and Sainz is on fresher hards. It's going to be a tough one now from here. But Lewis is back in the fight, which is good. Lewis is back up with us, and you'd like to think that probably Leclerc will drop in behind Bottas once he comes in. We'll find out in a second. If Leclerc drops in behind Bottas, then we've got some kind of fight on our hands. But it is going to depend heavily on Hamilton's ability to get caught up with us. And Bottas going for a look around the outside here. Not really the place I'd have looked for a move. I'd be looking to use this DRS zone and see where Charles Leclerc is going to come out. Is he going to come out ahead of us or behind us? He should be in the pit lane as we come past. We've got DRS. Lewis is putting another fastest lap. What's coming out on the right? It's Charles Leclerc is ahead of us. And now we're in an actual fight for the victory. Lewis banging in those fastest laps, though, just to make sure something happens. And we do have a battle on our hands right here to the end, which is where we are really going to be questioning what happens. Perez going very long on his first stint. I don't think he's going to get enough out of those mediums to stay ahead of all of us. I've been wrong before, but I don't think he's going to get enough out of his mediums to stay ahead of all of us. And we're going to get held up now by Sebastian Vettel, who is yet to pit. Be interested to see if anyone comes in this time round. Ideally, it'll be Sebastian, because he's currently in the way. It's not going to be. It's going to help us out a little bit. Can we get something in the DRS? Not really, because we're kind of going to be equalised with the DRS on the cars ahead of us. And we're sort of as you were holding station. And being slowed down by Vettel, actually, may not be the worst thing here, because it will give Hamilton in clear air a chance to catch up to the back of Valtteri, and we've got both cars then to go to war with the Ferraris towards the end, which is kind of what we're looking for. We didn't get the track position we were hoping for, but that was largely because of the mistakes. If we hadn't made the mistakes, we'd have got the track position on the undercut, which is very annoying, and now we're going to have to do it the hard way on tyres that maybe are not as good. So, DRS open again. We are hoping to try and find a way past Sebastian Vettel fairly soon. Leclerc has got himself free, and now Sainz needs to do the same, otherwise we're in trouble. And now we need to do the same to stop the Ferraris gapping us, which is where we're really in trouble, because Hamilton, at least now in the DRS train, is involved in this fight. Come on, let's get past him up the inside maybe. Through the chicane, we've got to get this move done, Valtteri. We don't have time to mess around here. You've got to get this done. Round the outside would be great if you can pull it off. You're maybe not going to. DRS, you should have enough over the AlphaTauri to get back behind the Ferraris. What are we doing, bud? This is disaster for us. Absolute disaster. Seb is in the way right now, and we've got to get past as fast as we can. We could have held in around the outside there. We don't really have a good line coming up anywhere to make it move unless we get it done into the chicane, which would be very unusual. Not impossible, but very unusual. And we are looking like we are very out of this until Vettel comes in. And I don't want that to be the case, quite frankly, because Vettel, I think, is going to be going for a while now. Right, let's get it done. We've got it done in DRS. Can Lewis follow us through? He can't. Lewis is the next one getting bottlenecked by Sebastian Vettel. It sounds awful saying bottlenecked by Vettel, but it is what's happening. Now Bottas needs to go on the back of the Ferraris. We are faster than the Ferraris. We're just not with a massive advantage over the Ferraris to be able to gap them, and they're too close together to kind of slot in and take them one by one, which is the problem we're going to have towards the back end of this race. Lewis needs to get involved in this overtaking of Vettel now, as we hopefully come through the DRS zone. He should be able to get it done. Valtteri's taken the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Come on, Lewis, buddy. You're not against the wall. You're not going to make that move happen against the wall. You're getting very close, but you're not going to get close enough to make anything happen without taking a proper wide look. Maybe this one, though, shuts the door last minute on Hamilton. Some good fighting between Hamilton and Vettel. We've not seen this in quite some time. But Lewis, you would think, would have a way past, and Verstappen is about to join this fight as well, which is something we really do not want to happen. We don't want Max getting involved in this fight. We need to get ourselves past Vettel, and we sort of understand now why Vettel is doing the defending now. He's doing the defending to help Max Verstappen get back into this fight, and that's not a thing we need to be seeing at any point, so we need Lewis to get past now. Can we get the power down, get the nose in, get ourselves clear? We're still not there. We've got to get this done ASAP, quite frankly. We need to get this done. We're going to get ready to use whatever little overtake we have once we get towards the DRS zone. Come around the outside here, get some overtake on the go now. Hopefully Lewis won't bin it here, gets his foot down, gets himself past, should get DRS, and he's clear, and we can carry on our day. And that was far too stressful for my liking. Valtteri is now back with the Ferraris. Hamilton's got a 4-second gap to make up, which is not something we wanted to see. But he should start again to bang in some fastest laps, which is what we do need from him. And we're just trying to see what we can make happen now in terms of gapping. Somehow Sainz is losing time to Gasly. I'm not sure how. Not sure how he's losing time to Pierre Gasly, unless he's deliberately creating that gap. But if he's deliberately creating that gap, what he's going to do is give Perez a place he can slot into to win if there's a safety car, which we don't want to happen. I don't understand it. Let's just see if we can make a move happen over the next few laps with Valtteri Bottas. He should be able to get involved in there somewhere with the Ferraris. You'd like to think he'd have what it takes. I am thinking maybe it's time to start saving up some ERS for a big push, but I don't want to go too far if I can help it, because I don't want to drop the Ferraris, but if we can harvest some ERS, I think we'll be okay. I'm very cautious about doing it with Lewis, because Lewis does have Max bearing down him tyres-wise. Max is going to have the advantage at the end of the race, so he's going to be in the fight, but we need to get our guys past the Ferraris and use the Ferraris to block off Verstappen, if we can, which is going to be very, very tough for us. It's going to be a tough last few laps of this race for sure, and I'm hoping there's going to be one of these guys, one of the Ferraris or both the Ferraris, two-stopping. If both the Ferraris are two-stopping, which is not impossible, I don't think they are, it looks like they're tyre saving to the end, then we'll be okay. But how are we doing on our tyre graph? We're doing okay. We've got enough gap in there somewhere to be able to bring in maybe have a safety car stop if we need one. It's not really a great overtaking track though, is it, Imola? So it'll depend on who comes in ahead of us, and if there's an advantage to be gained from doing that, which is really the big question. But Bottas now saving up the battery. We're going to just get that recharged nicely and pull ourselves, and we're not going to lose DRS on the Ferraris, and when we go neutral we'll catch them back up almost immediately. So I'm not panicking just yet, because we should stay within range here, get the DRS open and get ourselves caught back up to the Ferraris hopefully, otherwise we're in real trouble. We have done, and we'll stay in touch long enough to recharge the battery on this lap, and hopefully we'll be good to make the big push happen once we get through this one, which is what we were looking for in the first place. So Bottas looking very good to stay in touch, maybe get a pass and DRS On the lap after this, lap 37, we'll go for a push. Something's happened in sector 1. It's not going to bring anything out because the cars are still moving. So we're just trying to push our way through here again. DRS open, get ourselves back close to Carlos Sainz, and hope for the best to happen is our mission now. We're looking fairly okay. We're looking like we're in this fight, and we should get the battery fully recharged here. Good stuff. Right, let's take a neutral there. Hamilton, meanwhile, is still with it. Still can see us. I don't know how if he can see Verstappen over his shoulder. He can't, which is fine. So we're just looking for Valtteri to do his thing, get caught up, get himself in a good striking position now on the Ferraris, and hopefully we'll have the ERS to really make something happen. We're going to catch up to Gasly. There's been a crash in Sector 2/Sector 1. That looks like it was an Alpha Tauri. Lance Stroll, we'll have a little look at that. Because the safety car board did not go out in time for us to bring someone in. And he's just gone straight off on the corner into the wall. Good stuff, Lance. Well played. It didn't go anywhere in terms of leading to a safety car, so we're just going to carry on as normal and just try and get ourselves back involved in some actual racing. It looks like Leclerc and Sainz have 5 minutes left to catch up to Gasly and to Norris, which is going to be fine by us. Little train forming again behind Perez and Alonso. How are their tyres doing? They started on hards and they've just kind of rinsed it. Probably looking to go on a set of softs at the end, actually, if we're honest. They may well be trying that hards to soft strategy that we kind of did the inverse of. And now I'm thinking about it, it would have been worth trying, but I was so convinced there might be an early safety car, I didn't bother. But yeah, they may be doing the inverse of the strategy we did, which will give them more pace towards the end, which is a little bit quicker. But, you know, track position and faith in our driver's ability to defend. But we are at that kind of crossover point now where our hards are faster than their hards, and they are going to come out a long way behind us at this point. I mean, Alonso is holding up this entire train. Perez may come out in the fight. Alonso is not going to come out in the fight at all. I'm just trying to do the math in my head now, and I expect Perez to come out at about 11th, just behind Verstappen when he finally pits, which, far from ideal, really, to be able to try and make his way through the field. Albon and Ocon have come in for stops as well, just to really make a difference, and now I'm in a position where I need to figure out when we're going to pounce, because if we don't pounce soon, we're going to get Gasly in our way, and that's going to cause problems. And we're just waiting for someone to come. Bottas has gained a position off of someone coming in. Russell running wide was what caused that. Okay, one more car out of the way. That's absolutely fine by me. One more car out of the way, and we can keep on trucking. And Verstappen is going to get involved in this train very soon as well. I don't like the idea of that. I do need Hamilton to push, though, to get himself back in the train, because this train is long and Hamilton's getting left behind out of it, and I don't want that to happen. I want him to be involved. Once we cross the line, I want to be able to actually save some ERS, so when we need to start making moves, he has the ability to join that fight. So, we'll see how that goes. Just need Lewis to stay in touch for now, and then hopefully he will get caught up if we can keep him in the train. We can build that gap to Max Verstappen, which is something I need to do as well. And we're just kind of stuck again. No man's land is what's going on here. Alonso corking the bottle, having a look, but it's not really a look with any serious intention from Bottas. We're just kind of waiting to see what happens now. Leclerc has managed to get past Gasly, but again, there's no progress to be made here because Gasly's got to come in fairly soon. We'll get ready to send Bottas on an overtake anyway, coming out of this turn. Someone's crashed in Sector 1, and that's going to help us immensely if we can get an overtake done under DRS. Of course, we're in a yellow flag zone, so we can't use it anyway. Albon was the one that crashed in turn 7. That's not helped at all. We're going to have to start making a move on Gasly though very soon. Otherwise, we're in real trouble. real trouble if Gasly doesn't get a move on very soon. So we'll see what happens if we're just waiting for something to happen at this point, aren't we? We're waiting for a move on Gasly, but Gasly has managed to stay up close to the Ferraris. He's doing some good defending, which we have to get our nose in like we did there and call it a race. Good stuff. Stay ahead if we can, please, Valtteri. I'm sort of keeping an eye out for cars on the right-hand side. And we're clear. We're good. Okay. We can stay neutral now and use our overtake sparing. Having to micromanage a race. That's crazy stuff. And Hamilton is going to be the next one who needs to find a way past Gasly. And he's going to have to do it under DRS because he has no ERS left, which is criminal. Pretty criminal. Let's just see what we can do. We can make this work if we try. We've got Lewis Hamilton on the job. He should be able to pass Pierre Gasly in an Alfa Romeo, you would think. Although we are going to keep having a look, apparently. Can we get it down the inside? We're not going to get it down the inside just yet. But we will. We will. I promise you we'll get it done when we get a moment to pull something out. Hamilton just brake checked a little bit by Gasly there. That will have helped him coming up into the DRS zone for sure. DRS open, hopefully no yellow flags this time. Come on, Lewis, you can do it. You can pull through on Gasly. I believe in you. You didn't make my belief pay off. Leclerc has done very well, by the way. He's just jumping everybody. Leclerc has gone full attack. And I feel like at this point we're probably going to have to do the same, because if we don't, we're going to get stuck and Leclerc is just going to disappear on us. And that's not really the one. So let's go Bottas, overtake mode. Let's see what we can do. See if we can get any positions made up. Whilst we still have some battery to use, because if we don't, we're going to be in trouble. He's going to use the entire thing trying to fight this battle, which is not the one. Norris was in the way there, and Alonso and Perez have come in. We need to get past Norris now. Otherwise, our race could be done, and we've just about made it stick. Good stuff. Okay, back to neutral, because as I said before, we have the pace over the Ferraris. Lewis needs to get involved in this fight now as well, but he has run out of excess fuel, so he's now running at kind of perfect levels, and we'll take Norris pretty soon. We're just going to hold up for a second with Lewis, because there's no rush, and I think Norris is going to come in at the end of this lap. He's going to stay out just long enough to give Lewis DRS, and there we go. Jobs are good, and Hamilton clear. Bottas staying on the back of Carlos Sainz. Everyone looking fairly nice and neat and cheerful. Let's drop back down to balance mode now as well, and just try and stay with the Ferraris. Make a race of this to the end, which is going to be what's important. Bottas is probably going to make a move on Carlos Sainz pretty soon, you would like to think, because Leclerc has done the unthinkable and left his teammate for dead, left him exposed with no DRS, so he should get second here quite comfortably. Under DRS, you'd like to think we'd make it happen. If we can just get a look round the outside here, we're going to go for it. Are we going to make it happen? We have got through. Have another go. Set of chicanes. It's going to take everything we've got here. And we've ended up behind. But it was a good battle for the overtake. We had our nose ahead for a moment there. And Valtteri is going to have to really push himself to get past Sainz here under DRS. We've got a little bit more fuel we can use. We'll try it out. Why not? We'll try the extra fuel coming through over the start-finish line, because we're going to come onto the back of, well, Sargent for a start in just a moment too. That will hopefully slow up Charles Leclerc a little bit as back markers appear. We've not managed to make this one work at all this time. We're just staying there, really. We're just stuck. Verstappen has passed Hamilton as well, while we've been watching Bottas try and do his thing. And now there's a fight going on. How are that tyre battle's looking? Not great for us. For Lewis at all is not great. Okay, we need a safety car nowser to get something to happen for Lewis. Otherwise, we're going to be in a proper struggle city, and it's not going to go okay. Verstappen's going to probably catch Valtteri as well. Lewis having a look under DRS, needed to make that move happen. The door got shut on him. Bottas is not getting past Sainz. I told you we had to start throwing Ferraris behind us like turtle shells to keep Verstappen back. And it is what we need to do, quite frankly. We have no choice. Bottas is about to run out of fuel. Good stuff. I've done that brilliantly. It's been a mixed bag race, this one. A mixed bag kind of race. that has not really gone super anywhere for us. And yeah, it's this is a Hamilton Bottas kind of. We kind of need Hamilton to keep fighting Verstappen, just to keep Bottas out of DRS range. And there was a yellow flag there because someone went wide. I'm guessing it was Bottas. With Russell going wide apparently as Hamilton retakes Verstappen. Can he make it stick? Not quite, because he didn't get the inside line for that corner, which is kind of the crucial one for finishing off any moves you make under DRS at Imola. And he didn't quite have what it took in the tank, so we're going to have to go again. And that's going to be where the real questions come in. Lewis has some excess fuel, so we'll use that to give him a bit of an advantage to get past Verstappen if we can under DRS, and see if that's the difference between making that move stick and hold and not, although Verstappen's kind of seen it coming, and we're going to get stuck again behind Max. It's been a race of just us being stuck behind cars who shouldn't be faster than us. I think actually technically the Red Bull should be faster than us, but the Ferraris certainly shouldn't. We shouldn't be struggling like we are with Ferraris. And I'm just thinking now, where is the advantage for us to take here in terms of Hamilton? Verstappen shouldn't be able to get involved in the podium fight. I am just sort of thinking, do we just try and keep Hamilton bothering him and hold him back to build a gap? Because it's not impossible. That's a thing we could pull off. We can get it. Taking the inside and the braking there. Yeah, it's not impossible that we can do just enough to keep on the podium with Bottas and maybe use Hamilton to hold Verstappen up. But that's a risky strategy. It's going to be a risky one to the end, this one, purely because the tyres. I don't know how the tyres are going to hold on to the end of the race, quite frankly. With the way we've been pushing them, we are possibly in a little bit of trouble here and having to save some tyres. Bottas is still stuck. Hamilton's still stuck. Bottas is at least trying to fight with the Ferrari. Maybe he can get through here. Two battles going on at once, and again, that same corner, we've come unstuck, and it's not really worked out for us. And I am thinking now, we're going to do some harvesting with Valtteri. We're going to take a little bit of advantage here to have a chance to harvest with Hamilton as well. And we're going to put some speed into the old game clock, because Hamilton shouldn't get dropped too soon. I've said that and he's got dropped immediately, but he has gained some battery, so we'll use that to help him out. And hopefully we can get ourselves back in the fight with Verstappen, who is now on the back of the train, which is not what I wanted to see. We've got to actually redeploy all that now to get Hamilton back in the train, otherwise that's just not going to happen for us. Bottas is getting dropped a little bit too, so he's going to have to go to neutral and try and use what he's got to catch up. And we do again just need to get Hamilton back involved now with Verstappen. It's going to be a six-way fight again for the lead in Imola. And something's happened in Sector 1. I don't think it's going to affect us. I'm desperately hoping we can get some kind of safety car bonus coming out of this race. I've been hoping we'll race for a safety car to help us out, but it's not coming. A safety car right now, okay, we'd lose a place to Perez with Hamilton, but we'd come out ahead of Ricciardo on soft tyres, and we'd be in a good place for a scrap to the end, which was sort of my thinking, but it's not going to happen just yet. A late red flag would be great, but it's not going to happen. There's 8 laps to go, and we're kind of stuck with what we're stuck with. Lewis is back in the train at the very least. That's going to help us out. Valtteri has lost the train. I just need the train to get a chugging. We're going to deploy. We're going to send Valtteri full send to try and catch up with the Ferraris ahead of us, just to stay in the train. Hopefully we will pull the entire train up with us. That's the plan. And yeah, just need to do what we need to do, really. Perez is now involved with Lewis as well, so it's just going to be a micromanaging situation until the fuel runs out, which is going to be pretty soon. It's got to be said. So we'll go balanced again there. Bottas is sort of stuck a little bit now, trying to catch up to Ferraris he has no business really being in a battle with anymore. Ferrari have played a blinder strategy-wise here, I think. I'll give them credit where it's due. They have played a blinder strategy-wise here. Perez has passed Hamilton. And there's not a big enough gap to Alonso. It's going to close as well for us to drop Hamilton in, maybe try and steal a fastest lap. Not for points, just for money. And maybe stay involved in the fight. Bottas is about to get passed by Perez, and we are sinking rapidly. And my attempt to do the audacious strategy call has come unstuck a lot at the end of this race. It's got to be said, it has not gone well for us. I thought we could try something clever. It's not gone well. It was not the strategy that gave us any pace at the end. I thought our drivers would be maybe capable of doing some defending, given that one's a 7-time world champion and one is used to defending for him. But it's not really worked out. This race has not really gone to plan at all, and I'm starting to think about what we do here to try and make something happen. I've been relying on a safety car to make something happen all race, if I'm honest. And it doesn't feel like it's going to happen anytime soon. Bottas is still in a battle with Verstappen and Perez, so at least he's trying to stay on that podium. I don't think he'll pull it off, but he's trying to stay involved in that podium conversation, which is fair play to him. Hamilton as well also sort of in this battle. It's going to be us battling Red Bulls to the end to see who gets that last place on the podium, because I think the Ferraris have pretty much, barring a mistake, secured that. So we are going to just have to zoom our way through, I think, and just see how things go as we get towards the last lap, where we should be having the conversation a little bit about what's going on. I mean, some back markers are going to hold up Leclerc a little bit. There's 3 laps to go, which is just fine by me. Just want to see what we can do here to hold on to the end, to try maybe get away past Verstappen as late in the race as we can. The last lap has begun. We're going to deploy everything we have. Let's chuck out whatever little fuel we can spare, just to see if that's got any answers for Perez, maybe, as Bottas now is going to have to use all his Nelson experience to get past a probably much better at this stage Max Verstappen. Let's drop the full overtake mode as well. Why not? Let's use everything we've got just to get past. Hamilton's going to have to drop back on his fuel, otherwise he's not making it to the end. May not make it across the line as it is anyway, but we're going to stay on board with Bottas now through the final corner. That didn't go well for me because I went the wrong way. Anyway, the important part is it didn't change the outcome of the race. We've got 4th and 6th. We've got more points over McLaren, which is going to be beneficial. We've lost points to Red Bull and Ferrari. Constructors' Championship is going to be a thing. I think Lewis has stopped dead on the line, which is great. So good stuff. And again, we're left staring behind us. He's managed to make it across the line, but only just. And yeah, we're all good for this race weekend. We put it in the books, and we've done a less than an hour episode as well, for the looks of things.
What a phenomenal job Valtteri Bottas did today. Williams have got to be happy with their results here. This was good work.
Just a really solid showing out there, which is exactly what they needed.
That's right, and they finished the race weekend in 3rd place in the constructor standings.
Coming up next, the teams will be taking a trip to the Sunshine State. The Hard Rock Stadium is laying down the track for a captivating race at the Miami Grand Prix.
So we go to Miami next. We sit 3rd in the Constructors' Championship, which is always good information for us to have. Valtteri Bottas gaining 5 points for his 4th place finish, but it's going to be Charles and Carlos who get some big bonuses in this one. And let's see how that shakes out with the Drivers' Championship. So Perez still leads the way by 4 points from Charles Leclerc. Those 4 points Perez won today, actually the difference between the top of the leaderboard. Carlos Sainz sits in 3rd, up 2 places with those 8 points on 20, Valtteri Bottas on 19th and 4th. Lando Norris drops 2 places down to 5th with 16. Max Verstappen surprisingly in 6th in the Drivers' Championship on 15 points. Lewis Hamilton in 7th with 12. Fernando Alonso in 8th with 7. Alex Albon in 9th, surprisingly, with 5 points. George Russell in 10th with 4. Daniel Ricciardo in 11th with 2, and everyone else yet to score this season. Ferrari lead the Constructors' Championship over Red Bull by 1 point. We sit 3rd on 31, 14 points behind Red Bull. We need a big showing sometime very soon. And then McLaren right behind us on 21, followed by Alpine and Mercedes, Alfa Romeo, Alfa Tauri, Haas, and Aston Martin yet to score. Let's see what we get in terms of experience points. Anything we can spend on maybe making a driver faster. Nothing just yet, it seems, which is good stuff. And we've made a bit of cash. We like having some cash in the bank. That always helps us out immensely. So I guess we'll have a little look, see what the news is saying, see if there's any development points to throw in anywhere for anyone else, and go back to HQ and see what we can learn from that race. See what's coming up next at Miami. Right, let's drop our way to the inbox. We have got to improve the engine cooling, apparently. I'd like to improve a lot of things about the car. If I'm perfectly honest, we're going to have a little look to see what the... make sure there's no development points hiding that have come through from the simulator. We've got one for our head of aero. That could be useful. And we're going to throw it on... we'll throw it on cooling. Yeah, let's throw on cooling because that's going to actually help us quite a lot as we get further in. There was nothing on any of our drivers, which is fine. And I think car development-wise, we're actually okay. We should have new parts coming in after next episode by the looks of things. So we're going into Miami with exactly the same car we came into with this one. Have a little look just to see what our analysis is saying for Miami. Assuming no one brings any upgrades, we're top on acceleration. That's a thumb up. We're good on low speed, great on high speeds. We might have a decent race. We may have a decent race here. If our drivers can make the difference, maybe there is a podium to come for Miami, and we will find that out in the next episode. Let's finish on a lovely standing screen for you all to see, because I'm not spending any money in this episode. And I guess that's a place to wrap it up. So thank you for watching, guys. I have, as always, been Chasing Lamely. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave the comments down below. If you haven't already, you do go check out my new podcast, Checkered History Podcast. I've started at the very beginning with the history of the combustion engine, and you're going to learn some stuff in there because I don't think anyone's ever covered this on the YouTube before, or indeed in a podcast before, about how motor racing started and all that good stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I have, as I said, been Chasing Lamely, and I shall see you all very soon. Until next time, have a good one.